Hello, how are you all? I hope you have had a lovely long weekend and enjoyed a bit of relaxation and the beautiful weather we had been having. We're going into week 8 Pilates, so I'm going to bring you a little bit of yoga-fi type of Pilates, a little bit of power, and of course some stretch, so just to kind of mix it all up a little bit. So we're going to start today in a child's pose position. So you're going to bring yourself down to the floor, and whether or not you feel child's pose doesn't work for you, I'll just give you an alternative. So that's your choice and how you feel. So just going to flip it up a little tiny bit. There we go. So ideally, spread the knees to the edge of the mat, bringing your big toes together, and then you can park your bottom down into your heels. And from there, you can just gently drop to your elbows, and then rest your head and chest down, and find that stretch, find that comfort zone. You might want to extend the arms and melt down even deeper, thinking the forehead, chest, down to the ground, and extending through those arms, just enjoying that stretch. So the wider your knees, the more it will just give you a bit more freedom to melt your head and chest down. You might feel a little bit of a stretch into those hip flexors. So see how that feels. Take a few breaths, just releasing and relaxing and extending the arms. And if that doesn't work for you, come to your hands and knees. And then take it into that cat stretch. Chin tucks, the spine flexes, you push the floor away gently, feeling those shoulder blades opening. You tuck in that tailbone, you're scooping through your abs. You pause for breath, and then gently release to a neutral spine. Eye gaze just slightly forward, and then you just a gentle lift of the bottom and lift of the chin. Dipping the middle of the back, and then exhaling, curling through. So that's your alternative to your child's pose. So we're going to just pause here for one more breath, reaching those fingers back. Reaching the fingers forward, parking the bottom back to your heels. And then we're all going to slowly float ourselves up to hands and knees. And we're all together going to take a cat stretch. So we're going to lift your eye gaze, lift your bottom, dip the middle of your back. So all it is just a gentle drop, and then scoop it under, suck the belly in, open those shoulder blades, and then bring yourself back to neutral. So we're going to take this front leg behind and extend the front leg up to the sky. Then we're going to take the back arm and we're going to reach and lengthen. So you just got a full extension through the arm and the leg. We're going to exhale, float the arm and leg out to the corners of the room, so 45-degree angle, and then inhale, closing back and repeating. Exhaling out to the side, inhaling back to center. So just showing you from this angle, you lengthen the way, you squeeze out, you back to center. So my torso, the middle of my body stays isolated. It's just the arm and the leg moving. So exhale, open out, inhale, drift in. I'm just going to slide my mat back and create a bit more space. 3 more, just a little squeeze out. 2 more. Last one, out to the side, and then swing the arm and the hand and knee, come back. Cat stretch again, curve the spine. Chin down, tailbone, squeeze the abs, open the shoulder blades, and then undulate through the spine, just gently lifting the chin and the bottom and the spine dip. Breath in, do that again, exhale, curl up. And then inhale to pause, exhale, we're going to stop at neutral. Back leg extends away, toe pointed, fingers reach forward, find your stability. Exhale, squeeze out to the side. Inhale, center. Breathing out and center. Make sure you're softened through that stabilizing arm, so you're not hyperextending the arm. And by that I mean you're not fully extending and allowing that arm to kind of fall out of its joint. It's quite easy to do if you're hypermobile. So it's just a soft elbow. the whole time, so there's no pressure in that arm joint. 4 more. Now, when you've come to that last one, squeeze it out, drop it down, and cat scratch again. Curl under, breath in, exhale, float it through, eye gaze up, bottom up, let it back. Good. Come back to hands and knees. So we're going to drop down to the elbows. We're going to start warming up the core, doing a dolphin exercise. So tucking those toes under and lifting the hips up and extending through the legs. Now walk through the legs and get a good old stretch down the backs of the legs, into the calves, into your hamstrings. Breathing in to bend one leg, extending the other. Feeling your lower belly, lifting your hips higher and lengthening through your spine. So pressing the floor away again through those arms. And then press your heels down into the floor, find that stretch. We first of all inhale, bend the knees. Take your eye gaze to your hands, hovering the knees, and extend the legs back up again. Eye gaze to the toes. Inhale, bend the knees, eye gaze forward, the knees hover. Exhale, extend. So if you find this difficult at any point, you can just lower your knees very briefly and then lift back up. But ideally, we're trying to get that core engaged. So we hover the knees, squeezing deep into the abs, the thighs will engage as well, and exhale, lengthen. 4 more. Last 2. Look at that extension of the legs as they stretch into the back of the heels. Last 1. And then hold your dolphin up into the sky. Slide your toes back, drift your hips down, and let's do some little pulse planks. So not too fast. If you need to drop to your knees, that's fine. You can just press here. Just give me another 5. 2 more. And then last one, drops all the way to the floor, lowering yourself down and taking your arms out in front of you. So my legs are extended, my arms are out. My hip bones are pressed to the floor, my legs are squeezed together. So what we did when we're on our hands and knees, we're going to now do lying flat. So we're going to start with the front leg and the back arm, lifting up, head and chest raised with the arm, out to the side, back to the middle, and lower it down. Same side. Inhale, exhale, corners of the room, inhale, and down. So if you feel your shoulder doesn't like this, if you've got any shoulder issues, just do the leg on its own and leave the arm relaxed to the floor, okay? So find what works for you. But still lift that head and chest if you're losing the arm. 4 more. Last 2. Squeeze it out. Center and down. Last one, lift out to the sides, back into the middle, and we're going to pause. We're going to lengthen, we're going to lift, and we're going to pulse. Pulse. Squeeze that front butt, reach the arm. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let the head drop, chest drop, and let your hips just roll. Elbows come back underneath your shoulders, interlacing your fingers. Tuck your toes under and lift yourself up into a plank. And hip press up and down. Squeeze it, squeeze it, squeeze it, squeeze it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and pause. And gently release back down to the floor. Sorry, I just had to do a little pause. So back on the floor again, arms back out in front of you. Legs extended behind. And we're going to work back leg, front arm. So we exhale. Squeeze to the 4 corners, sorry, to the 2 corners of the room. back to the center and down. Inhale, exhale, squeeze. Inhale and exhale down. Repeat. Four more of these. Make sure you're lifting your head and chest off the ground to get those back extensor muscles, but at the same time, don't move your head with the arm. Just stay in the center. Feel the shoulder and the leg working. Remember, you can lose the shoulder, the arm, sorry, if it's too much. Now, bring this last one back to center. Pause and let's pulse. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. 7, 6, lengthen the arm. 4, lengthen the toes. And release it down. Take a breath. Elbows under the shoulders. Interlace those fingers. Lift your toes, tuck your toes, and lift your hips. And bring those feet into a dolphin. So bring those feet in, press your heels to the ground, lift your hips up, squeeze your abs. So earlier on we did a little drift into hover and an extension. This time we inhale, rock forward, exhale, lift up, eye gaze to toes. Inhale, rock forward, exhale, lift up. So the alternative to being on your toes is to simply drop to your knees and lift your bottom up. Drop to your hips down and lift your bottom up. Or you could drop your hips down, push back, and then lift your knees. So come forward, knees down, drop the hips, lift back, extend, okay? Choose what works for you. Inhale, exhale. 5 more. 3 more. Last 2. Last 1. And then lift up. Take a breath, bring yourself down into a plank, pause there, pulse those hips again, little tiny movements on your knees if you need to. Just keep breathing, squeezing. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Drop yourself to the floor. Take your arms back out in front of you and your legs together, pointing your toes behind you, fingers reaching forward. So we're going to do arms and legs together. This is completely optional. If you feel it's going to be too much into your lower backs, then go back, just do one side at a time, so alternate sides. Otherwise, you're going to lift into a beautiful straight line. Open the arms and the legs out wide to a V. Inhale back to the middle and lower it down. So we inhale up, exhale, open wide, big, big star shape. Inhale, squeeze and drop it down. So you could just do the legs on their own if your lower back or your shoulders don't like it. It's the same thing. Lift up, open out, squeeze together and drop it down. Just to show you from a different angle, just keep working through the breath, so don't stop. Inhale up, exhale, open, squeeze and release. And your eye gaze is just very slightly forward, so we're not lifting that chin too high. And find what works for you. So 4 more or 2 more each side. And then when you've done your last one, we come to center, we drop down. Everyone lift the legs only, open out wide to that star shape. Then inhale, raise your upper body, open out, so both in a star shape. Squeeze and lift the shoulder blades, squeeze them together. And then bring those arms and legs to close and swing kick your arms and legs together. You can just rest your head onto your hands and do the legs on their own. Keep going. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Rest it down. Roll through those hips. Now you're just going to slowly turn yourself over onto your side to face me. So just roll. You might be up the different end, you might have your mat in a different position. So I want you to remember what side you rolled onto so you don't end up repeating the other side. And that's where a lot of people kind of forget and go, oh, I don't know what leg I did. So just think about what the top leg is, what side you're leaning into. So the bottom knee is just going to extend forward as your base. This leg is going to stay drifting. And I've pushed through my heel and I've pulled my toe in, so I'm dorsiflexing the foot. So the first movement, a little squeeze behind. So I've just extended my hips and I've squeezed my butt to take the leg a little bit further back than center. Lift, then forward flexion through the hip. Lift, return, point the toe, swing the leg all the way back to the middle. Dorsiflex, squeeze it, lift, forward, lift. Point the toe all the way back, dorsiflex, a squeeze behind, then a lift behind, forward flexion that hip, then a lift, pointing the toe, taking that leg back to center, resetting, squeezing back, lift, coming forward, lift, and so on. So just keep concentrating, keep talking your way through it. That's the best way to remember. And when you do your leg lifts at the front, when you move your leg from extension all the way through to flexion, try and just subtly turn your toes up on its arrival. So leg kind of naturally turns slightly when you bring it forward. So just turn it up very subtly. So now my heel's pressing down towards the floor as my toes press up towards the sky. Forgot to do my ankle movement there, but that's fine. Just keep the leg moving. And you want to start to feel your outer thigh and buttock working. So what you also want to be careful of, and I'm just going to quickly show you whilst you carry on, is when you're lying on your side, your pelvis will start to move if you don't concentrate on your core. You need to stabilize deep through your lower abs so that when you swing your leg forward, you're not allowing your hips to protrude forward, and so on when you're coming back. So just stabilize here, squeeze your abs. 3 more leg flexions and extensions. Try and see if you can lift that leg a little bit higher. So when it's movement, slightly higher than hip level, then big lift at the top. This is your last one. And we're all going to stop forward. So bring that leg forward, 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 forward. Lift it up 3 or 4 inches, turn the toes up, and let's pulse. Press, press. Squeeze those abs, don't let the hips roll. If you feel that's too much, you can bend your knee and just work with the leg bent. Just takes the load off. It just takes some of that weight away from the buttocks and the thighs. Otherwise, keep going. 8, 7, 6, higher. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Gently bend the knee and join the legs together. Take a breather. Nice long deep breaths. Now we're going to slide onto the elbow. We're going to keep our knees stacked. We're going to just slide them back a little bit further and lift into a little half plank. So I'm now leaning onto this lower knee. My hips are elevated and my arm comes up. We're going to continue to work this upper leg. Exhale, inhale. Now that's just straight away burn because that muscle has been doing loads of work. So we're abducting, but we're working the underneath of the core. Eye gaze can drift up to the fingers or forward towards me. Exhale, if you want to make it harder, add to the load and do a straight leg. Squeeze up through the hips, squeeze up through the waist. Please listen to your body if it gets too much. Just carry on moving, but bring yourself down to here and keep that outer thigh buttock moving. 6, 5, 4, 3, last 2. Hold that one up, bend through the air, lift up high, take one more breath, and then inhale, bend the knees together, and lower yourself down. So we're going to work a little bit more into our obliques. So this arm is going to slide slightly forward and your legs are going to extend slightly in front of the mat. Hands here. Now, roll very subtly. So all my legs are doing are just very slightly drifting off the floor. Then I'm just going to bring this elbow up a little bit. So this is my starting position. So I'm leaning very slightly into the elbow. I'm in my hip, my legs are drifting. And then we're going to pull up and squeeze and extend down. Exhale, inhale. So as I pick my legs up, my knees are pulling in towards that shoulder and I'm side bending towards that top knee. And I'm just pushing into the elbow to lift up and then lying back down, lifting in, lying back down. Keep going. 4, inhale, exhale. Last 2. Last 1, reach and hold. Pull the knees in, extend the legs. 5, 4, if you can, or bend them. 2, and 1. Release it down. And just take a rest on your side. All I want to do is just roll yourselves over onto your back from there. Head, shoulders, back to the floor. Spread the toes. Find your center point. Lift those legs up to tabletop. And we're going to inhale, tap one leg down. Exhale, back to 90 degrees. Opposite side, inhale, tap. Exhale. Inhale, tap. Exhale. And as you move through this exercise, you're going to start lengthening the leg, tapping the heel to the ground. Lengthening the leg, tapping the heel to the ground. Obviously, if it's too much, you just reduce it back to your toe taps. That's absolutely fine. Want to make it even harder for yourself? You can do it from leg extension tap. Point the toes to lift. Heel leads the way. Bring it up. Okay, that's your harder one. The absolute hardest is obviously legs together, but I don't want you to do 4 legs down together and tap the floor because that will make you hyperextend. So you can do it from bent knees to almost a hover, bent knees to almost a hover. So we're not quite hovered, we're a little bit high, but we're not flat to the ground either. So work with whatever you're working with. I want you to do another 6 each side, so work really deep into this. Most importantly is don't let your lower back take over from those abs. Really secure deep into the hips and the pelvis. And then when you've done that last one, pause at the top, bend your knees and drop the feet to the ground. Immediately slide your fingertips to the side of the head. Curl yourself up into an ab crunch. Pause and just pulse it. So I'm lightly holding my head with my fingertips. So I'm just taking some of the weight off my head and nothing else. And then I'm drawing my rib cage down towards my hips. And then just working those upper abs, elbows open, squeeze. Now find that top intensity and then pulse at that point. 10 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release it. Interlace fingers, take a full body stretch here, sliding one heel forward and the other heel forward, just softly changing the direction. And then find the middle ground again. Bring those knees in towards your chest, sliding your hands underneath the thighs and roll yourself up and flip your feet around and you're going to come down onto your side. So we're relaxing the head down onto the shoulder. The bottom leg is forward. The top leg starts drifting just about hip height. My toes are flexed. And then you're going to squeeze very subtly back using your buttocks. So my legs come just further back than center point. Abs engaged, pelvis stable. We swing the leg forward. We lift. We drop. We point the toe back to center. Pull the toes in. Squeeze back, lift, center, all the way forward. And again, as that leg arrives, turn it slightly up and then lift the leg from there. Point the toe, pause, then a squeeze behind, a little lift, all the way forward, lift, and so on. Just keep going through your breath. Don't forget that center pause to change your foot positioning, squeeze that buttock back, then lift the leg, then let that leg travel forward, toes up, lift the leg, and so on. So again, carry on whilst I'm speaking. Just be careful that as you swing that leg forward, that pelvis doesn't change its position. You need to really stabilize and let the leg do its work without allowing any swinging through the hips. You need to really squeeze your abs, squeeze your butt, and use your core, use your tummy muscles to control that. So wherever you are, give me 4 more. Last 3. You're going to do 1 more. Don't forget the pause and the squeeze back. Elevate the hip. Swing all the way forward. Pause. Lift the leg higher and let's press. Press. Now fill your abs, controlling the movement through the buttock and the thigh. Turn those toes up. 8, 7, 6. Higher. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold for breath. And then gently drop the leg down. Just allow that leg to settle, let the muscle just find its way back to its kind of natural state, because we're going to work straight into it again. So we begin by sliding up onto the elbow. Slide the knees slightly back so they're not too far forward, but they're also not all the way back. Use this hand just to lift your hips up so we're on the bottom leg now. Squeeze up through the waist, take the arm to the sky. And when you're ready, lift that top leg up and down. So try not to rotate the hip. We're not rotating the hip bones face forward. We're just squeezing in abduction and lowering. Squeezing and lowering. And if you wish to extend that leg, do so and make it a little bit harder. Again, keep everything in a beautiful straight line. Exhale, inhale, lift the hips up, squeeze that waistline. Look up to your hand or forward. If you need to stay with a bent knee, stay with a bent knee. 4, 3, 2, and pause at the top. Pulse it. Squeeze. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And release it down. Slide the arms slightly out in front. Take a breather, extending your legs slightly out in front as well. And then just slide back in so the elbows are a little bit of your base. Roll subtly over into that lower buttock so the legs just drift off the ground. Fingertips here. Engage those abs and obliques. When you're ready, take a breath in. Exhale, curl in. Inhale, extend. Exhale, curl in. Inhale, extend. Keep going. Use this arm as your lever to pull up and in and away. Give me 6 more. Don't forget to side bend as you pull in. Last 4. And 3. Come on, last 2. You can do it. Hold that last one in. Squeeze it up, 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 up. And then extend the legs up. 5, 4, 3. Pull them in. And 1. Release. Turning yourself over onto your tummies. Just take a couple of breaths here. Bringing your elbows underneath your shoulders, tucking your toes under, and then lifting up into that dolphin. So walk the toes in, squeeze your abs, press your hips to the sky and draw the heels down. Walk through those legs again. So we started off, whilst you're walking through those legs, just have a little glance forward towards me. We started off with a knee hover and then extension, and then we moved on to dolphin plank up. This time you're going to do the planks again, but with one leg each side. We're going to work 20 in total, 10 each side, but the leg raises and you roll forward to there. So my leg is just gently lifted higher than the opposite one, and then you power up and lift the leg a little bit higher. You might want to do one side, and then do the second one, swapping the leg over, and so on. Okay? So when you're ready, begin. You can do it with both toes as you were before, just dropping the hips and lifting up. Or if you want to drop it to your knees and lift up, and then lift your hips, that's fine. Also, you can attempt to do it with one leg up, still dropping your knee. So you can lift one leg up, come forward, drop the knee, press down, lift up, return the foot. Okay? So the other leg, come forward, drop the knee, pause, lift, extend, and lower. So find what works for you. If you're tired, drop it down a notch. If you want more challenge, keep those legs hovered. You might be doing one side at a time, that's fine. I'm hoping you're counting yourselves because you're probably all gone at different paces and started at different times. I want you to do 20 in total. So you might do 5 each side and then decide to do the last 10 with 2 feet only without raising that leg, or you choose what works for you, just do 20 repetitions. And all I say is when you've finished, you end up in that upward facing dog. So that, that dolphin, which is like an upward, downward facing dog with dolphin position. Can't get my words right today. So you should be coming up to your last few. And then when you finish, the hips are up in the air, the eye gaze to the toes, the heels press to the floor, your abs are squeezed to their maximum, and you gently lower the knees, taking them wide, slide onto the backs of your toes, and sink back into those heels, into child's pose. Take some long breaths there. Again, if child's pose is not for you, come into a cat stretch. Take your arms for a little walk over towards me and stretch that back arm as you reach back into the back hip. So we're just doing a little bit of a side bend through the rib cage. And equally, if you're in a cat stretch, you just do the same. You're up here, and you just reach that back arm and just dip down. And you still get that stretch. And then take it to the other side. Reach through the back arm, the front arm towards the back. And just reach as you pull back through this front hip. And then come back into the center. And then just bring yourself down onto your bottoms, facing towards me with your legs out in front. Extend and lengthen. Bring your fingertips down by your side, sit tall. Inhale, raise your arms up. Look up, lift and lengthen. And we're going to kind of catch these legs. Now, we all know that not everyone comfortably catches their feet. So if you've got a band nearby, a strap, a towel, or something you can grab to help your hamstrings do so. We're going to breathe in to lift and lengthen up through the spine. So try and extend deep into that spine, and then exhale, lengthen those knees and drop down. Just dip your head and chest down towards those hamstrings. And you can just keep working through that same process, lifting up to you, inhale, extending the spine, and then exhale, dropping down. 3 more breaths. So if you don't quite extend your knees, I've always said this to you, when you get tight, if you're particularly tight, maybe try and hold your feet with your knees bent and just extend one leg at a time. It's a little bit easier to stretch when you're particularly tight in either your lower back or your hamstrings. So 1 more breath. And then let your hands release down by the sides of your legs, slide them in and just use your arms to roll up. Just do a little counter stretch, leaning into the fingertips and lift the chest. And extend the spine. So all I'm doing is just do a little curve into the spine after being in forward flexion. And then bring the soles of your feet together, slide your hands around the fronts of the feet, lift up tall, take a deep stretch up, and then exhale, fold forward. Sink down, push those knees down, let your spine flex, let your chin drop. And we're just opening up those hips. And you might feel that in your sacrum if your back is tight. And then just roll yourself up. Keep this left leg folded in and take your right leg out to the side. So if you feel like you want to just park yourself on top of a block, a cushion, roll your mats up, give yourself a little bit of a wedge. It just helps to elevate and keep your hips into a more comfortable position. And just turn towards this leg and raise the front arm up as we inhale, reaching forward. Again, you might want to use your straps, bands, towels, whatever clothes. And we're lifting up tall and we're sinking down. So we're stretching down. So I want you to focus on also just feeling the stretch through the right shoulder blade, maybe into the rib cage and into your lower back as you reach and stretch your right hamstring. Just do a couple more breaths there. And then gently release off, free yourself, walk up. And then we're going to take it into a side stretch. Take the arm in, open this arm out, take a little side bend through that side of the body. And if you want to go further, slide the leg away. Reach this back shoulder behind, taking your eye gaze forward, extend the elbow, point through the fingers, and use this arm to twist and turn. 3 breaths here. Last breath, and then inhale, raise the arm up, float yourself back up, and bring yourself to face forward again. And let's switch the legs over to the other side. Let's start with the side stretch, bending the leg, taking this arm inside, lift up tall, open out through the arm, take it overhead, twist and turn that shoulder, and if you want to go further, slide with the leg, and breathe into that side stretch. Keep turning, keep reaching, keep lengthening, keep breathing. 2 more breaths, keep turning. And then inhale, raise the arm, float the way up to back to the top again, turning gently towards this leg, raising the front arm, reaching forward, catching around that foot or whatever prop you have, catching the leg if you need to. Inhale, look up, lift and lengthen, and exhale, fold. So I'm still a little bit more focused on the side of the shoulder blades. This gets my lower back as well as my hamstrings, so I'm just going to concentrate on breathing into those areas. 3 long deep breaths here. And then gently releasing the fingertips down by your side. Walk yourself back in. And once again, just bring yourself forward. Now this foot, just free it a little bit further forward and just slide this foot in front. Bring your fingertips down by your side and lift up tall. Your right arm comes in front, turns towards that left knee, and then you're just going to sink down into this thigh, stretching out the buttock. Now, if you're particularly flexible, you may want to swing that foot right up onto that thigh, but make sure you still got your bottom firmly on the ground, and then you might want to fall into that thigh. It's up to you. See how your body feels. Just sink the chest down. Don't lift that back buttock. So this hip, this right hip needs to be grounded. Take 1 more deep breath. And walk your fingertips to the front. Take a breath here. And walk yourself back in. And let's change our foot position. So from here, just slide the foot behind the front foot, and then this leg stays here. Fingertips down by your side. Then the left arm comes forward. We turn to the right leg. And we drop down. So again, we're just letting the spine soften. We're keeping this left hip down on the floor. If you want to make it deeper, park that foot on top of the thigh, square the hips, and work there if you need to. Okay, so just find what works for you again. I'm particularly tight in my hips, they're not really enjoying this, so I'm just probably going to leave it a little bit lower on my leg and then work from there. One more deep breath. Stay low as you walk into the middle. Take a breath in the middle. And begin to walk your fingers in. Free your legs into a comfortable place. So I'm just going to sit in a comfortable cross-leg position. And then bring your fingertips down by your side. Close your eyes and just lightly use your fingertips to lift up. So that when you drift your arms off the floor into a hover, you stay here. Your core just holds you here comfortably. And then inhale, softly raise the arms up above. Interlace your fingers, take a big body stretch up towards the sky. Look up, open your eyes, and then inhale, bring your hands down, bow to yourself, give yourselves a clap, and just take a few breaths. Just enjoy that last bit of relaxation, and I look forward to seeing you soon, but look forward to giving you Pilates for week 9. Enjoy your week. Thank you.